welcome to the MDFSA YouTube channel. This whole month is Myasthenia Gravis Awareness Month, the month of June. And with me today is Thato Ramantse, and she's living with Myasthenia Gravis. And I'm just going to ask her a few questions about her experiences. Welcome, Thato. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Very well. Very well. Let's start. The first question is always at the beginning is the diagnosis, and we all have our story about where it began, how you realized you got symptoms. What in your case? How did it happen in your case?
Right. It was in 2001. I was working as a site manager at the hospitals, right? We had implemented a computer system. So I was teaching. So during my classes, I would experience funny feelings, like I feel tired on one side of my face or my lips or something, but I couldn't explain what was happening. But one day I actually stopped in the middle of the sentence. I was teaching and I couldn't continue. I just stopped and I couldn't control it. Luckily, I have or usually have a second teacher teaching. So she sat me down and continued with class after class. And then she checked on me, what's wrong? I couldn't explain what was happening. I also realized that I had other symptoms, except I didn't know there were symptoms. I had a sticker, as in change gears. Every time I changed gears, I was like, what's wrong with me? I don't have the strength to change gears. What's happening, you know? And then restaurants, I'd be eating out and be off fun. And then I stopped chewing. Why have I stopped chewing? And I couldn't control it. So basically, the message was getting distorted between my muscles and the message that was being sent to my brain. And I couldn't control it. So I went to the doctor, and then I had some funnies in my nose as well. Felt like I'm sneezing, but I'm not quite sneezing. I'm not sure what's happening. My eyes would shut on their own. The funnies like that. It's not a normal thing that goes on. So I went to a doctor. Doctor said, I can't see what's wrong. I'm going to send you to a specialist. So I went to a specialist. He looked at me. He's like, I'm not too sure, but can I just rule it out to hay fever? Maybe something is just going on. They will sort it out with these pills and then come back if you don't feel well in a few days. In a few days, I was still experiencing the same thing. I went back and he just said, okay, clearly it's not it. I'm going to have to send you to a neurologist. So in the same building, the doctors shared. So I went up to a neurologist, made an appointment, and then I came back a week later. And as you can imagine, specialist doctors, you take a long time to get an appointment. So eventually I got the appointment. And yeah, that's how I thought, that's how it started.
Yes.
So with the doctor there, then we got to further stages of discovering what this thing is and how it manifests.
Yes, how it manifests. But the progression, I mean, it's not a disease that I know of. It's, you know, I mean, most of our diseases that we've got, it's very rare.
Yeah.
So the general public wouldn't know. But this one is also very rare. I haven't heard of it. What is the progression, and what parts of the body does it the normal progression? How does that manifest further on?
Okay, in my case, really, it's weakness. Okay, your muscles feel weak. Eyelids, like I mentioned, my eyelids were feeling weak, so they would kind of shut on their own. I couldn't control the muscles around my jaw, you know, muscles in my arm. Like I was saying, I couldn't change gears. Also in the legs, I would feel tired. I mean, young as I was, walk around the mall, you walk all day without getting tired. You wear your heels all day without getting tired. But that change, you know, it's like, no, I'm feeling tired all the time. So changes certain things. Don't be wearing your heels all day. Take breaks. You know, it's just fatigue, if I could put it that way. You feel tired.
Yeah, something I also know about.
Extra hours, you would not manage the extra hours. So you feel tired. That's basically how it shows up.
Yes. So, but in your case, how do you deal with this? Because it can't be easy. You know, it's we all know not easy. How do you deal with it? And
At first, it wasn't, because for starters, I didn't know what it was, and I couldn't explain why I'm tired. I couldn't explain why I couldn't take more than one class in a day, and I would run 3 classes a day. So I would only do one in the morning because I feel I'm energetic to run the one class. The other 2 I would run with my assistants, and you just changed that way. But when I was diagnosed, it became easier because now we knew what it was. But before I was diagnosed, I was at Joburg Jenny, which is an academic hospital. So it took long for the doctors who were learning. My prof, who was the main doctor, already knew what it was, but he couldn't just say what it was because he teaches. So everybody had to come visit my bed every day. There'd be like 12 doctors around the bed talking about it and trying to figure out, touching me here and they're trying to figure out what this thing is. But eventually they figured it out and they started treatment. So I was on a whole sort of pills. I couldn't even swallow them. That's how many they were. They were very scary. Yeah, but as soon as I started medication, it started feeling controlled, if I can put that way.
Okay, so there is medication in your case that you can use, and
yes.
What else?
Yes.
What other treatments are there? Are there other treatments?
Yes, there is another treatment. So in a year, I would visit the neurologist just for checkup to see my muscle strength and whatever, and the bloods and all. If there is something called polygam. This is like a drip that they would put up over days, as in it has to run into your body slowly at a certain rate, and depending on your reaction to it, they have to monitor it and slower and slower and slower until it can run at a comfortable rate for your body so that you don't get sick from it. It was the first time I got sick from it. So eventually, and I used to do this once a year at least, because that's when you could figure out, no, this time I'm getting weaker and weaker. Go to hospital, run this thing. It's kind of like an energy booster that lasts prolonged periods. But on top of that, you still have to take your medicines. So I'm now, how many years with it? I'm still managing with the pills, but I haven't been for the polygam for a while because I've been quite strong.
That's good. I mean, it's just so you can really lead a quite normal life with
Pretty
all the
much, yes. Pretty much, yes.
But
Yes, but it's just scary when you don't know.
Yeah, it must have
know.
been very difficult during those days that you didn't know what was going on. How did you stay positive during those days?
Yes, it was difficult, and it worried my parents mostly because they just were wondering, what did they do wrong? Like, why would you think you did anything wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. This thing just happened, And yeah, it was difficult for them mainly, but for me, it's like, another day, we'll get there.
Yeah, no, you're a very positive person. But the other thing that I want to ask you is that the medical profession, it sounds like they were able to assist you quite fast and they put you on the right track. So the research is up to date in terms of that. Did you find that to be the case, that they could help you very quickly?
Yes, I did actually. My doctor was Prof. Modi. Like I was saying, he was a teaching doctor. So he already knew pretty much after he saw me as to what it was. And then for him to also take me through to Joburg General for admission to get the guys, the new doctors learning about the disease and how to diagnose them. I felt very much supported, the way they were doing their interviews, if I could call it that, to get to the diagnosis, the aftercare hospital, after hospital care, and the medicines that were available already, I felt they knew what they were doing. I didn't feel like I'm lost or anything like that. And as soon as I started with my treatment, I felt better. It was almost immediate,
Yes. So what the last thing I want to ask you is, what would you like the public to know about this disease? And I think that's
you know, unlike when I was doing my, you know, when you discover you have something, you always go on the net and try to figure it out. In America, for some people, you can actually get a disability sticker so that you can put it on your car so that you park closest to the door, so that because you get tired quickly, you can reach your car quickly, right? But here at home, I don't think they have that in the back of their minds to say these people get tired, because it's also unknown, very much unknown. I mean, one time I was in hospital, there was a nurse who was going on retirement. She said, this is the first time I meet someone with this thing and I'm going on retirement. That's how rare for her it also was, and she wanted to know more and ask a whole lot. But if for the public, I'd say do not ignore fatigue. If you feel tired, there's got to be a reason why you're tired. Find out. It could be stress, yes, let's sort out the stress, but it could be other things. I mean, this is an autoimmune disease. I didn't cause it in any way. Nobody caused it in any way. It just happens. There's no explanation for it. It just does. And get it checked out. And don't take the first answer that comes. Like I was saying to you, my first doctor saw hay fever or something, you know. And also look out for signs that would be like me talking. I'm talking, and it's like, I can't talk. What is that? You know, you can brush your teeth normally, but this time it's like you're just stuck. You can't move this way or the other way. You know, simple movements, they get disturbed, then get it checked out. It could be that it's a sign of something. Rare as it is also possible.
Well,
So just take note. That's what I would tell the parent.
That's good advice, and don't be afraid.
No, don't be afraid.
Now, that's something that I also say, you know, with the muscular diseases that we've got, is that if you know what you're dealing with, you know, it's almost like half the battle is you're almost there, because if you know what you're dealing with, you know what to plan for, you know what kind of treatment there is available for you. Yeah, that's definitely good advice. Do you what kind of activities do you stay active? Do you exercise? Are you busy? Are you busy? What kind of work are you busy with? Work?
Okay. When I loved aerobics, I loved gym, I loved, you know, being active. But when I got sick, I stopped because I couldn't do any of it. I was tired anyway. But as soon as I started treatment and decided this is just too boring for me to just sit still, I need to find something. Somebody introduced me to yoga. So I'm not really running up and down. You know, you're sitting there, you're doing some stretches, some funny moves, and it felt comfortable. So I kept doing it. And then I went to deep Pilates, which kind of stretches your muscles further. And eventually I was like, you know what? Let me try something else. I learned how to swim. As an adult, I went into the pool with an instructor and I learned how to swim, you know. So I do exercise now, and I can walk around the block. I can be on a bicycle, whatever requires of me. But initially it was hard. Now it's not so hard. Yeah. And then work-wise, I've got, I'm in IT, so I'm on the computer all day, and I used to travel between Pretoria and Sandton. So I drove, as like driving doesn't work. As soon as they introduce the Gautrain, just get on the train. You know, it's easier travel. And then at work, they knew that I had issues. Instead of giving me a giant laptop, they gave me a small one, which I could carry and manage with the walk. So you just adjust and tell others so that they can support you. And then also on the side, I've got a side business. So on weekends, I go out and to the markets and sell. I always have a chair because I know I can stand up and I can sit down and rest, stand up and sit down and rest. So I'm leading pretty much a normal life. I just manage how I need to. And I used to travel a lot with friends. So my friends knew when we were traveling, somebody's going to carry my bag, push my bag, just assist where they can. And when I needed to rest, they understood, okay, we're just going to go out and be by the pool. Just come and rest with us. If you want to, you don't have to be inside. Or you can stay in the room and sleep. Welcome. Go out, get ready for the outing in the evening. Things like that, you know? So we just manage, really. We manage.
Yeah, I mean, they have to live out their Ubuntu, right? when they help you. And the other thing is, what I've learned is you have to adapt. You know,
you do have to adapt. It not forces you, but otherwise you're gonna sit and do nothing. And you can't live not doing anything, you know. Find a way. If it's knitting you want to try, or sewing you want to try, and you used to be a person who's actively walking around, try something else that keeps you entertained, even though you are sedentary, you know.
Yes, keep moving. Just gotta keep moving.
Somehow you can't run a marathon or comrades because you're going to be tired in the first kilometer, but some form of move.
Whatever you can do in your situation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much, Thato. I've really learned a lot today. You know, it's just so many rare diseases that I don't know about.
I know them all.
Yeah, and we need to learn from each other, as I always say. Thank you so much.
I'm happy I could be of assistance.
Thank you so much.
And share my story, of course.
Thank you so much, Thato.
Only a pleasure.